We're back on another on another exciting episode of Starfleet So Hail, where we have a casual and informal conversation about Star Trek. Today we're focused on Star Trek Lower Decks Empathological Fallacies. It's episode 5. I'm so excited to be here, Toddy. You're late. Well, we're late because of you. No, it's okay. We're not late.
I'm emotionally compromised. God damn it. Ah!
Hey, look at that. You've got the Bob, God damn it, Bob shirt. I haven't thought about Bob in a long
God damn
time.
it, Bob. You know, I thought,
It's amazing.
oh, he's zooming in. He's zooming in, people.
Yeah. Should I be on this side or the other side? What do you think?
I don't
What's
know.
better?
I don't know. Cross you,
We've
sir.
we've got some folks in the audience hanging out. We've got Sanctimonious Buzzkill.
Am I on no, I'm not on shit mic. I'm on good mic.
They are live. Can you see that? Can you see us? Can you see us? Oh yeah, you have to
I
be
can
on that
see
side
you,
because your
and I can see me.
graphic is on that side. Which I don't know if people have seen that in a while, the graphic. So I'm gonna pull us off screen for a second. So
Okay,
people
yeah.
can see. All right. All right. Now we're back.
Quality graphic. That was it.
Hi, screen people. Hello, Joel. Hello, Norman.
Hit the
Nice
like
to
button.
see you. Oh yeah, hit that like button.
It's so mean and menacing.
Toddy, I'm not gonna tell you what, but we might have a little surprise coming up in half an hour here on maybe. We'll see. Not 100% sure.
Oh my. William Shatner.
No, better. Better than William Shatner. Dorito strong. Yes, good hashtag. So a little bit of I guess channel news updates, things like that. So last week we were not live, so we didn't get to really talk about it. But I, in a weird twist, on the day we we go on the air, like hours before they announced that season 5 will be the last season for Star Trek Lower Decks, which is indeed a buzzkill, right? Speaking of buzzkills, I was really sad to hear about that, and I'm still kind of bummed. Not kind of, actually, I'm still quite bummed about it. How do you feel, Toddy?
Well, I'm not as emotionally compromised as I was on that very day.
Yes.
So in a twist of fate, we pre-recorded that conversation. So at least we weren't bummed out throughout the conversation.
Yeah, I think it would have been a really sad and depressing.
Yeah. So we come at this at a time where we have, I guess, had more time to reflect. So I guess I'm grieving, right? But I'm moving through the steps. Like I'm in acceptance. I accept it.
I'm not there yet. I'm
You're not there yet.
I still holding out hope that something will happen, like another streamer
I
will
would like
come
that.
up or something. Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
but my sentiment is that it isn't as premature as like something like Prodigy. Like it wasn't like season 1 and then it's pull the plug. Like we got 5 seasons of the show, so I'm very grateful for that. Of course, I would like it to find a new home and to carry on. Like I I wish the show would go on for many years.
Yeah. I like to think of I feel like Lower Decks is like evergreen. Like it just can keep going, like The Simpsons sort of. But at the same time, Mike McMahon did say that there was a plan to end the show, and I think that's the most disappointing thing, is that like they already finished, from what I understand, season 5 when the decision, rather I should say, was made to not continue with the show. And so I don't think it bums me out that he didn't get to like tweak the season or shape it to not necessarily say goodbye, but to just have like kind of some kind of closure to this part of Lower Decks, because I do believe that all of the Star Trek series that are ending have the potential to go on with this, like the idea of streaming movies or whatnot. I don't think that these shows are going to be gone forever. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I was hoping for, I always wish creators can tell the story that they want to, before ending the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Lower Decks, just like Prodigy and the animated series, they have like this. So it's an advantage, like, of being animated, right? Which means you don't have the problem of like actors aging, that kind of stuff, like you can actually just recast the voices. I know that, in an ideal world you wouldn't want to, but you can. If say in 20, 30 years they wanted to just pick up where they left off with Lower Decks, it's not as easy with like a live action show.
Right.
It is here. You could literally do like, the next day, and you get good voice actors that are able to emulate, the voices of the previous actors, basically. So it's not,
Legit.
I can come back. I would like it to carry on. If they can find a new home for it, that would be nice. This is part of what Paramount's kind of like reshuffling of everything, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing a
I
lot
don't
of
know.
stuff. They're
Maybe
doing a lot
maybe
of
they
stuff.
want
I
to
don't know
maybe they
what's
want
going
to
on over there.
like maybe they want to test more so like the movies, like the streaming movies rather than the streaming shows,
Hmm.
for Star Trek, which could in its own way bring on like a new era of like movies, rather than TV shows. Like we have like a vacuum in terms of TV series, but we have just like all of these movies come out every couple of years on the streaming services, which could be an interesting development.
Right on. Norman reminds me here that the season 4 Blu-ray DVD physical media release was this week as well. So I definitely ordered mine, and it should get here soon from my online purchasing place
I
that of
I,
choice.
I know I know it is not easy for everyone to do so. But if you can, purchase physical media.
Yeah, it's just I think it's like just
I
another
know
way to
it seems
support the show.
materialistic. It supports the show. I know it seems materialistic, but it's also like they be changing things. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? All the time, they might just remove your access to a certain show at any given moment.
It's
Too.
a really good, yeah, if
So
you really, I mean,
gotta
if
get
you
that backup.
especially if you yeah, if you especially if you really love a show, it's good to have an archive of it. And you could still watch the streaming version if for convenience, but then you
Hmm,
have
absolutely.
but again, like you said, it's not easy for everyone. We're talking from a slight place of privilege, perhaps, where we subscribe to these streaming services and purchases, but
Yeah,
I
no, I've
also
seen
just don't
comment.
go
I've
out
seen
and eat. I also don't go out and eat dinners often. I cook at home. I'm very frugal in other ways. So my limited funds are allocated to Star Trek for
the
better or for
priority
worse.
is the Blu-ray.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I
priority
see.
is the Blu-ray. So we're not saying you
No, but
have
no,
to do this,
I know
but
it's
it's
it's not
definitely a
easy.
way
It's
to.
not easy for everyone, but I'm just saying, and not I'm saying it from like a practical standpoint, because especially with music, I think we've talked about this before. Music now, it has a tendency of changing all the time. People release albums and then they change, like they remove features, they add them, they remove tracks. Like Kanye West notorious for changing his albums, after they come out. Um, Plenty other artists do this now, and considering big companies, big corporations and studios have like full control over these things, IPs like Star Trek or Star Wars, like you don't know what kind of version you're going to end up with at any given moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Joel's pointing out to buy the comic too, which I have to do. Thanks for the reminder there, Joel. And I had the opportunity to chat with Chris Fingolio on Trek Central's stream one time, and that was
Pretty
really
cool.
cool. He's a really, really neat guy. And I love his tweets about art and just like
He likes
different
Star Trek.
things.
Of course, he's
He
neat.
loves Star. Yeah, of course he's neat. It's
Come on,
true.
we're
Also
neat people.
on the official Lord X, where you get the shirts, which I forgot to. I didn't wear I just came running in, so I didn't get to wear my
Outrageous.
Lord X
I'm
shirt
just
today. But
I'm offended.
and I'm not wearing the right badge. I'll tell you why I'm wearing this
I
one right
just
now.
I can't handle this right now. It's too much.
But they have now an official Lord X
It's affecting me, I
badge
think.
that you can buy from the company that makes the official shirts as
It
well.
turns
So
into Badgie during
the
the night.
animation
Tries to
company.
murder you.
I also we have another reason to be somber or sad today, which is John Trimble, married to Bijo Trimble, the
No way.
two. Yeah, he passed away. So
Oh,
yeah, that
fuck.
was really sad.
Okay,
Yeah,
that sucks.
yeah. So he died this morning. So it's
I
another
didn't even see
sad
it on the
occasion.
Twitter. I wasn't on the Twitter for the whole day because I was working, but that's sad. That's very sad.
Yeah, sorry to break it to you then.
No, no, may he
Uh,
rest in peace. The Star Trek fandom takes a blow.
Yeah, it's true. Even though it's a somber time, I think it's important to celebrate someone's life, so he and Bijo have certainly done a lot for.
Indirectly, we are doing these conversations about Lower Decks for a show that wouldn't exist if they weren't around doing what they were doing. So
Yeah, the OG activists, the OG Trek activists
they brought
and
us together.
letter
You know what I
writers.
mean?
Yeah, exactly. It's true. It's true. I got to meet Bijo when I went out to the Star Trek Picard premiere, and that was a really cool um, opportunity and a memory I'll cherish. And I just feel really sad for her. As my father passed away a year ago. Very soon will be the 1 year anniversary. But watching my mom kind of go through that, I just feel really a lot for Bijo. I know that it's hard to lose your companion and lover
Couldn't
and stuff.
imagine.
So,
I
yeah.
couldn't imagine.
Let's not think about it. All right. So Toddy, shall we get into this episode? Did you
Yeah, yeah,
did you
yeah.
watch it this time? You've been watching them. I
Excuse
know you
me. Excuse for the record, it was the first episode that I kind of, but these other ones, I've been watching them. Ridiculous.
Excellent,
But
excellent.
so
So
this is the final episode that I had seen.
okay, but so
Um,
you got your memory refreshed on it and
yeah, I
stuff
got my
like that.
memory
Yeah.
refreshed. And then so the next five that we're going into, that's uncharted territory. And as requested, I haven't watched them. Like I thought I could maybe just no, I didn't. I'm just gonna watch them, every week before we do these conversations.
Excellent. I love doing these conversations with you, by the way. So I'm so glad you make the time, and our audience seems to love it too. We got like quite a few folks in the chat, and
Well, they're
also
talking amongst
watching.
themselves about other things at this point.
No, they were talking about what we were talking about. It's relevant. The chats have a life of their own. You
That's
gotta
very
let the
true.
chats breathe,
Thrive,
Toddy. It's like
thrive.
you gotta let them breathe and
It
thrive.
lives.
It can't be just serious all the time. So speaking of not serious, would you care to do the episode summary today?
I
It's pretty simple. I feel
can.
like yeah, I think you should take a crack at it.
Okay. Hold on.
I'll do it if you.
No,
It's
no,
very
no.
simple.
Em-
Okay, go.
Empathological fallacies.
Oh, you say that so much better. Empathological fan. I say,
Empathological.
yeah,
What do you say?
I don't know now because I want to say it like you do.
So I was gonna say a bunch, but it's not a bunch. It's very specifically three Betazoid dignitaries that hop on to the Cerritos, and they're being transported to like basically the next thing that they have to do on their agenda. And they're coming out of like they were having a good time. Well, they're going to Riza. So they were having a good time where they were,
On
and
Angel One, they were on Angel.
Angel One, and they wanna continue the party and keep having a good time while they're on the Cerritos, to not interrupt because they're still gonna have a good time on Riza, basically, right? And so as they are, what exactly is going on between Mariner and Tillin? Like, what's the plot exactly there?
Oh, so Mariner's just trying to get Tlin to loosen up and kind of participate because
Yeah, that's
while
it.
these three dignitaries are on the ship, they're just like wanting to party and live it up. And
Okay, that's
since
it.
there's also a
Yeah.
communications blackout because of the security reasons, and so Tlin's really frustrated because she can't send a message to
Yeah,
her old
so
captain.
she feels like the punishment has been quite enough. She wants to leave this ship of hooligans. Basically, people are partying. It's ridiculous, and like they're having these, just like very kind of like overtly goofy and funny Betazoid woman on board. Like that's too much for her. So she wants to send a message back to home and say, "Look, I've had
This was
enough."
the final straw because she's already apparently we find out that she's already annoyed with being on the on the
Can you imagine?
Cerritos.
Like she had to deal with that whole Boimler mission where like Boimler's doing everything himself. Like clearly she's annoyed, right? And so she can't get that message out. And so I guess there's a big malentendu going on the ship because
What?
a malentendu.
I can't. That sounds so nice.
It's so French, baby. It's
It's
so
so
French.
fresh.
It's what quid pro quo.
Oh, quid pro quo. Okay,
Would
very
that be
cool.
it?
Say it.
It's a,
Can you say it one more time?
Un malentendu.
Ooh. Carry on, carry on.
No, so there's a big kind of like a big mix up, I guess, or confusion, because we have these three Betazoid women of a certain age that might be having like a certain symptom or
A certain,
syndrome or whatever
yeah.
going on, and the reason why we think that is because everyone is emotionally compromised on the vessel. People are going like batshit crazy, right? Like, you know, as the captain says, we know how to party, but we don't usually party this hard. And it turns out it was just Tillin. Tillin was trying to
Should,
suppress those emotions, but she's
yeah.
doesn't have
Which triggered like a
no handle on
Bendai
it.
syndrome. Yeah, like
Yeah,
that's
she
crazy. Sarek had that. It's
yeah,
crazy.
and so to quote the episode, like Sarek was Vulcan as a motherfucker. So
I knew you'd like that.
Tillin is as well. You know what I mean?
But
The
yeah,
whole thing culminates in this big kind of like, oh my god, are we going to cross into the neutral zone or not? They don't cross into the neutral zone. Our friends, the
because
Romulans, are very disappointed.
it's funny,
So
yeah.
we're going lurk
It's because
somewhere else.
Captain Freeman's kind of like very clever. She does this gambit and is able to hit the red alert button, and that gets the security forces, which is the other side story with Boimler, to get on duty and do their job, and they're badasses.
And then, of course, the final little thing that we need to mention is our three Betazoid friends have some information on the mysterious bad guy that's being teased here and there.
Yeah, very good. Is that your summary?
I think that's it. Did I cover
Well
everything?
done. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna deep dive into it, so that's fine. But yeah, I think you
Joel
got
is
the gist of
asking
it.
if I watched season 2 of Prodigy because it
I
was.
hope you did not.
I did not.
Oh, good.
Not. I did not for two reasons. The first one being, of course, I don't want to watch it before it comes out. You know what I mean? I don't want to be like part of the leak system, even if this was. Sorry, it wasn't so much a leak as it was like an official mistake.
Right, it was just a
Bizarre,
misunderstanding. It was a
yeah,
like in this episode,
miscommunication.
people were blaming the French.
Blame the French. I mean, go ahead, blame the French. That's fine.
But it
Um,
wasn't the French, it was
no,
Paramount.
I didn't watch
It
it.
was Paramount all along.
I don't want to watch it before everyone else. I don't want to, and also I don't want to watch it in French.
Ah,
There you go.
there you go. There you go. Couple of comments here. Poor Ransom not playing hard again. I have a screenshot of that scene. I love that scene. It was humorous that Tendi was still acting the same towards Tillin at the end, even after the effects were off. Yeah, indeed, it's true.
I
Well,
love
let's get in.
Tendi. I think Tendi's super great. She would be. She seems very intense, though. You know what I mean? To be around.
She can get a little manic at times. I think she gets overly excited and stuff like that. But she's been pretty chill this season until this episode. I feel like she was like,
yeah, it's
especially
specifically
like
at the end of this one. She's kind of like, what the hell is going on? But yeah.
And as Norman says in the audience, well, that's Tendi. It's true. I love to take the screenshots of the opening title sequence because it's just fun. But also, I loved this shot of the Cerritos traveling through that particular kind of warp field or warp space with the stars doing the red shift and like whatever and stuff like that. It's really cool. It gives me all kinds of feels.
I enjoy having titles.
There they are. What were their names? I wrote them down because it's hard to remember because they're such interesting beta. Okay, so you have Cathu on the left, you have Dolorix in the middle, and then you have Catrot on the right. And Toddy, did you see that our friend Giraffe did a cosplay with some of her friends, and they went to WonderCon, and they they totally were doing this.
I'll go on Twitter.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. So I like these ladies a lot, and I gotta show you. I got permission to share. Yeah, I got permission to share these photos, and so they did a really good job with their cosplay. So I just wanted to highlight this because we love Giraffe, and she's such a great part of
got a live action crossover.
Yeah,
Come on,
this
a
is a
live
lot.
action crossover
Oh
event.
my gosh, they
What?
can play. Yes, they should be the ones to play them. So yeah,
They killed
agreed.
it.
They totally nailed it. But yeah, this is so I thought I'd show the image of the three along with the actual cosplays. So if you guys don't know who Giraffe is,
This
go
is
track out. What's
officially
that?
now. This is officially now Star Trek's fairy godmothers.
So you can go check her out on X. It's a lyrical giraffe, I think is the handle that she has, but she's also on Strange New Pod, which everyone should go check out. And I think they're on tonight. Oh my gosh, I'm such a bad pod podcast friend, but it's not
Podcast plugger. He ain't plugging it
podcast
right.
plugger. It's because I watched them on the replay because I think they might overlap with Text Track if I'm Thursday nights. They overlap with the salon or something. I forget what it is, but anyways, yes. So I usually watch on the weekends or I listen in my car to the podcast versions. But yeah, go check the whole thing out. Star Trek B the BIA, the
That's
Betazoid
it.
Intelligence
The
Agency.
Betazoid
That's right.
Intelligence Agency, BIA. That's right.
It's true. I love it. I love it. What did you think of those characters when you first met them and Tillin's kind of opening log in that scene?
It was interesting. I like the whole like Tillin kind of like perspective. She's so blasé. You know what I mean? Blasé.
Oh
As
my
they
god, you're just gonna say French words today to get me all like
Oh yeah.
flushed.
Everyone's emotionally compromised today. No, I like it. I like it. I think the characters. I think the characters like they were fun for what they were. Did they have like a lot of depth and a lot of like character development? No, because they were just kind of like here for they were here for like the giggles and kind of to be the red herring, I guess. Um, but no, I think they were great. They were fun.
It made me really miss Loxana Troy, the character, and also, of course, Majel
They
Barrett.
reminded you of Loxana Troy. I don't understand how.
Well, just kind of like the kind of the forwardness with the sexuality and the compliments,
I don't
like
see it.
oh, you're just messing with me. Damn you!
That's
Get
you.
off, get off my bridge! That's so funny. Joel, that's right. Gomez Adams used to go nuts. That's right. I am the Gomez Adams for anyone who speaks French, not just
I'm
Joel.
gonna say that Ransom doesn't mind. That still is. I mean that's sexual assault, right?
Well, it's definitely inappropriate. Because yeah, so yes, the answer is this. The best answer is yes, it is.
Okay.
However, I think that, I think that Ransom's response kind of changes it a little. I don't know. It's very strange. I personally think that consent is way hotter than like being, kind of fondled or whatever. Like I get really turned on by consent, but there are actually people who are turned off by it. So I think you have to get consent to be non-consensual.
Ah,
If that makes any sense.
fair
So
enough.
I don't know. It's a very complicated issue. But Lower Decks is doing that a lot this season. Remember, they did the thing with the Moan dungeon. It was
Mm.
like controversial. Like, is this what's the line or what? I kind of love that Lower Decks does that. Like, they kind of pose these questions of what is appropriate, like what's happening here. Let's talk about it. And so, yeah, I definitely think for my sensibilities, it's not appropriate. But I don't know. Betazoids might be a little bit different. I mean, Luxana was pretty forward and presumptuous as well. And I think maybe
Did
it's a
you ever
cultural
touch anyone?
thing. Maybe, and this could be a thing that applies to Betazoids. Maybe she read his mind and knew that he wouldn't mind. So there was like kind of
Ah,
a
I see.
passive. There was kind of it's still also, by the way, non-consensual.
She read his
It's
mind, and he was thinking, "Why does no one ever compliment my ass?"
yeah,
And she was
exactly.
like, "You
And
know
then
what? Okay, this here we go."
but I also think, she's non-consensually reading their minds. So like, I don't know. It's a very complicated. Star Trek can be complicated sometimes. It brings up a lot of interesting questions. Let's see what the chat's saying about it.
Well, now
Uh,
we've been asked a heavy question. What do you do when aliens sexually assault the crew? It is a very Trek kind of question because there's a lot of
oh,
things
hold
that
on.
need to be considered, right? Like
Yeah,
cultural context. Depending on what species you're talking about. Like this might be a very common, regular thing going on for like betazoids. Maybe their consent comes in where like they would do this as a first approach, and depending on your reaction to that, or if it's like a solid no or a giggle carry on, then they carry on. You know what I mean? But if you
mhm.
actually say no, they might just leave it there. So maybe that's how they handle that. I don't know. Maybe you get like
Maybe,
betazoid
yeah.
training when you become a Starfleet officer, just in case.
Yeah, well, I mean, like some of the, slam poetry, as we find out later, is a great way to mask your thoughts. So yeah, very interesting. Good points in the chat about that episode, "Man of the People," and Troy as she got older and stuff like that. Maybe it is very interesting. And let's see here. Well, there was that episode in TNG Violations that was using telepathy to assault members of the crew, and we've seen poor Deanna being assaulted psychically as well. Yeah, so there's a lot of things that happen. Aliens with diplomatic immunity, especially, right? That's right. They also have diplomatic immunity. It's very complicated. This scenario.
Famously,
I mean,
famously, Picard told Troy, "Continue being raped.
oh
It's
my
helping
god,
us."
no, oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
well, he did. He said that in Nemesis.
I know. It's just the way you phrase it. It's not exactly what
That's
he
what he
said.
said. Oh, he said it with more tact because he's Picard. Fine, but come on,
Oh,
I'll
oh
never
my
get
gosh.
over that.
But anyways, we get we go into sick bay and we get more weird stuff
This
happening
interesting kind of like subplot or sub lore where Caitians used to eat betazoids
in the ancient times.
in the
Now,
ancient times, right?
Now, this is interesting to me because do you think I don't remember where I heard this. I think it was on Text Track when this episode came out, like, however many months ago. But I wonder if through natural selection, that's how betazoids became telepathic because only the ones that could read the minds of the cats could escape them. Like, in other words, could predict when they were going to be attacked and hide out successfully. um, so maybe that's how betazoids evolved into telepaths, is possible
Wow,
through. Oh, you like that,
that's interesting.
huh? What's that?
That's interesting. I didn't think of that.
But yeah, town is definitely
Okay, so this is something that I have a problem with, and I'm going to be a buzzkill on this one, okay? I'm going to be a sanctimonious buzzkill here. I do not like the fact that Ta'ana not only jokes about wanting to eat them, but also legitimately seems um, to want to. I don't like that. Um, I feel uncomfortable by that. I like it makes me feel weird. I don't like it. I feel like it's because even if for some reason there's like some evolution thing still in her mind or still in her brain that still makes her want to eat them, I don't think those are like the appropriate kind of jokes that you should be making.
Oh, interesting. I think that we can kind of like we can kind of say that maybe Talin's situation was exacerbating these kinds of things. Like maybe those are things she would keep to herself, but because of Talin, and it starts
Mm.
progressing. Like, so this might have, I would put all of the behavior, including the ransom grabbing, in the realm of the Bendai syndrome escalating, like starting out
Okay.
small and then getting worse and worse as Talin gets more frustrated, I would
Okay,
say.
that's fair.
So I would say you're right, maybe under normal circumstances, but I think these are abnormal circumstances. So that might be a little weird. By the way, humans used to enslave kitties too. I must protest and say that as being a cat caretaker, it is very obvious that cats have enslaved humans successfully, and that we are all actually at their whim. And
So
it's
there are
actually
so there are studies that say that there's something. Is it something in their feces in cats, or something in their hair, or whatever it is that like it makes humans like want to care for them and makes humans want to
No,
stay.
so cat. Sorry, audience, this tangent here. Cat urine attracts mice. Mice are attracted to it. Uh, Cats don't normally meow to each other for communication. They only do it around humans because it sounds like a baby crying, and that's what stimulates our instinctual response
So they're
to
smarter than
care
us,
for them. They're
clearly.
smarter than us,
Like,
exactly.
okay, all right.
So
We're
like
winning this game, people.
they're winning the game. They're also domesticated cats, or even street cats are the most prolific hunters, non-discriminatory prolific hunters on the planet, um and they yeah, they kill everything. I truly think that my cat, um if I weren't a good caretaker, would try to slaughter me and my
So you
son.
think if domesticated house cats were like the size of lions, they would kill their owners and move on to a next one and be like, you're gonna do it right this time.
Yeah, I do think so.
Okay,
Cats are
fair
very, they're hella smart. Uh, I love this. I love this tangent in the chat. Also, since this is a good point Norman brings up from our little topic earlier, since her mind would be read, Tiana might as well express it in a humorous way. I like that. That's a good way of getting around
Yes,
that.
I do think
Yeah.
there is a nuance though, because if I think something and you read my mind thinking it, but I don't express it verbally myself, I feel like there is a difference between like me thinking it and me expressing it and you like intruding into my mind. I feel like there's a big difference there.
Mm. Mm-hmm. It's very interesting. This is a very interesting topic. I can't believe how deep we've gotten in this episode. It's very cool. I'm Lower Decks. Good for you. I love.
It's Romulan 8 o'clock somewhere. You just
Which,
have
by
to
the
take.
way, our friend Giraffe also has this hat. They made this hat, so it's like really amazing. Like she played this character, so it was like really spot on. But oh, sorry, I was checking to see if something the surprise might happen. It may not, but we'll have the surprise in a future episode if it doesn't happen today.
Oh
So
my
don't
goodness.
worry. But yeah, here's where things start getting rowdier. Uh,
Well, this
so
is the party. This is where Cerritos, sorry, where Freeman says, we do party hard, but we don't party like this hard, right? Like things are getting kind of out of hand here.
yeah, it's true.
We get,
Jennifer sighting. There's Jennifer.
yeah, we get people, getting really mad at replicators, for no apparent reason. We get,
Miglimo was so hilarious. I wanted this regurgitated.
ah! We get people, dancing and getting naked, or at least in their underwear, like on tables and what have you.
Very similar to the Naked Time, right? Like how that virus kind of affected them. This kind of
Oh, it,
whatever the
like
Bendai
remove the
syndrome.
one's inhibitions, right?
Yeah, and I feel like this
The naked
Bendai.
time or the naked now?
What could we call this? Like a Bendai attack or a Bendai? Because it's, I don't know.
It
She's able to
wasn't an
control.
attack, you know what I mean? She wasn't she
Yeah.
wasn't like actively doing this
No,
to
I know she was
cause.
having it. Like her anxiety triggered a pre-Bendai syndrome type of thing and
Mm.
stuff like that. So, but yeah, Oshak's the previous. They get crazy a lot. I just realized it's Naked Time. I forgot, I forgot about it's Naked Time and Shax. But here's Tillin when as she's getting more frustrated with the signal blocked thing, and I liked also, by the way, I noticed this time that I mean, we've seen it on TNG and the other shows before, but I
Mhm.
like because it's kind of a modern thing that cell phones do today, where she's dictating and then you see it typing. You see the type what you're dictating being typed by
Yeah,
the pad. So I thought that was a cool little moment. And then here's Mariner coming in and saying, "Come on, let's go party!" And there's a chocolate fountain. By the way, do you like chocolate fountains?
I have nothing against them.
When was the last time you partook of a chocolate fountain? You could dip strawberries, or sometimes it's hot chocolate, and you can just put a cup under it and get some hot chocolate.
Oh, a very long time ago. That was in France, so a while back now.
Are there chocolate fountains everywhere in France? I suppose there are.
A lot of like chocolate shops, when you walk in, they have a chocolate fountain just active in the store, because it looks
Of
pretty.
course they do.
You know what I mean?
Good call out about the TOS lighting. It's true, but I feel like TNG also had kind of moody lighting like this as well.
The lighting
Normal,
on Lodex is always fantastic.
so everything, the
They sure know
elementals,
how to
the
light an
animation,
animated
yeah,
show, I'll tell you that.
they really do. Chocolate fountains with strawberries or marshmallows. Yum. Last time I experienced that was at a wedding. Yep. I think the last time I experienced it was in Las Vegas, but I'm not 100% sure about that. So
Oh, here we go.
here's our Brotherford check in here, and
That's some
so
TOS lighting up there that you gotta
yeah,
love.
the opposite of like pen lighting, I guess. Yeah, but Boimler's super stressed out because he can't remember everyone's name. As a leader, in a leadership role, was that something like when you first started? Did you have to were you concerned about remembering people's names? Are you good at remembering names? Like, I'm curious.
So I have always been terrible at remembering names, and it seems that since I have, been in this like leadership position, it's come easier to me now. You know what I mean? But I think it also comes with, and it's interesting because I kind of I figure out, or I'm good at noticing kind of like what people's weaknesses and strengths are. And so I feel like once you learn about like the weaknesses and the strengths of like each individual employee, the name kind of just attaches itself to it. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right.
Especially like in my own department. If I'm talking with
So
other people from other departments, maybe it's not as easy, but yeah.
so we in the Apple world, when I was a manager type role there, we never said weaknesses, we said opportunities, because it's not necessarily a weakness, it's just an opportunity. Weakness also has kind of like a like I feel like when you say someone has a weakness, it's like, especially in like a work environment, it's not necessarily, they're just not trained yet. Like ooh, yes, okay. All right, here we go. And wait, I'm gonna switch. Yay! Hello.
I
This was the surprise.
Hey,
You told me I could just
Surprise.
jump in, right?
Yes, you're always welcome to jump in. I'm so glad you did it. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm at work, so I'm trying to be silent.
Oh, gotcha.
But yeah, doing great. I'm happy you're talking about my favorite Lower Deck episode ever.
oh wow.
It is. It inspired you a lot. And I was in San Diego when you were still working on the cosplay. It was very cool to like hear your like what stage you were in, and you showed me the hat. It's Romulan ale o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, I wear that hat way too often, to be honest.
So for everyone, we were talking you up earlier. We were telling everyone who you are and how they can find you. So everyone, here's your giraffe. Like, thank you for coming here. So I'm gonna put this slide back up that I created for this, just to kind of show off again. And how was it? This was, you debuted at WonderCon, right?
Yeah, I love debuting new costumes at WonderCon because it's a smaller con compared to San Diego Comic Con, and and yeah, it's a good way to see if your costume is gonna handle the crazy of a convention. I was very surprised of how many people actually recognized us and were like, "Oh my God, you're the Pitazoid spies!" And that was so fun. And even when we were separated, because we tried to stay together as much as possible, but even when we were separated, people were like, "Oh, you're from that Lower Decks episode," and that was the best, to be honest.
Did you run into any Talins?
No, and we
Oh
tried to
no.
find one so bad. I saw some the next day, and I was like, "Ah, no!" And we even there was a Star Trek photo shoot for all the Star Trek cosplayer that day, the first day on Friday, which is the calmest day. So that's why I like also trying new costumes on Fridays because if you lose something, you have time to fix it. It's not as crazy. I lost my belt, so things happen.
You mean you whipped it off and pulled out a stick and started like beating
Well,
it?
that's always the thing when you've only worn a costume in your living room for a photo with your tripod. It's not the same thing than walking around in field with people wanting pictures and the crowd. So no, I lost my belt buckle. So somewhere in Anaheim, I have to remake one. But yeah, no Tulane, unfortunately. But we'll most probably do it again for Star Trek Las Vegas. So we hope to run into more Tulanes there.
That's awesome. I'm so excited. I'm gonna try my best to go to Star Trek
The
Las
fact that
Vegas
there's
this
the
year.
three of you, it makes it so perfect though, because it's the complete package. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, it was not hard to find people who wanted to do it. I started mine because I just loved Katrat. I love Janelle James, who voiced the character, who is Principal Eva in Abbott Elementary. If you watch that show, I just
Oh, I
love
don't
this
watch it, but I
actor.
know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and so when I heard the voice, I was like, "Oh my god, this is Principal Eva!" And I right away wanted the hat because I found it hilarious. And then I talked to my friends, Rebecca and Andrea, and I'm making one of the betas of it. Like, you didn't want to be one of my sisters. And they were like, yes, absolutely. And it was fun. Andrea made that petticoat by herself. Like, everything is handmade. It's
Wow.
absolutely wild. And it's funny because so I can talk about my costume forever. So tell me to shut up and go away. You're done with me.
We can
But
listen forever, but we only have
I,
an hour,
I there was
like
yeah,
hour-ish.
a one a one shot of Katrat, I think in the trailer for season 4 of Lower Decks. So before we had seen any of the episodes, and I was like, I don't know who that person is, but I want to cosplay that
I
because
remember. I actually remember
the
your
dress was
obsession
insane and
started.
the hat, and I was like, I'm gonna make that character. And I think I tweeted, I hope they're cool because I'm totally doing it and I don't know
Mm.
what's their story. And I met with people from Titmouse in Star Trek Las Vegas last year who told me, wait to see the episode before starting to make the cosplay. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Like, we can't tell you, just
Oh, this is
wait to
trolling.
see the
Goddamn.
episode. Because there's a part of the costume that you cannot see if you don't watch the episode. And it was the reveal.
Yeah.
So they didn't tell me, but I was like, I needed to know. And when I realized it was a reveal with the lipstick, then we made everything. We also had the lipstick that extended
The
like
sticks,
back
yes.
home. We had some business cards saying BIA for all your trouble, Betazoid
Oh, so
Intelligence
good.
Agency. And we kept giving it to everybody.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
yeah, so thank you. But yeah, they do full reveal, so we can get rid of the dress, and yeah, that was pretty fun. Like working out how to undo our belt before undoing our belt and throwing the thing. But yeah,
That's amazing. By the way, awesome t-shirt. LeVar Burton. Is that LeVar Burton Reads? Oh, cool. Look at this.
Lever
What?
Burden says read banned books.
Oh, yes. Excellent.
It's
Fantastic.
my work outfit, as you can see. So yeah.
Yeah, the more the
Very
books are
good.
banned, the more they're worth reading out there.
I agree. 100%.
Exactly. Know what people don't want you to know.
Indeed, indeed. Well, Giraffe, you're welcome to stick around if you want for the rest, but I think you're at work, so if you want to head back, you can also. But
It's
we'll have
Friday
you on
afternoon.
again. We got to
Running.
have you on again.
Hi to everybody in the chat. Sorry, I just saw the chat. Yeah, no, thank you for showcasing our work. It's always great to know that people enjoy our little silliness.
Love
Hope
it,
to
love
see
it,
you in
love it.
Vegas.
And not only that, everyone, folks, check out Giraffe, because there's also Star Wars cosplays that you're doing now that are very exciting about the High Republic. I'm also a Star Wars
I
fan, so
finished it. I
yes.
wore it. I wore it
Oh
last
yeah, that's
Tuesday
right.
at Star Wars night. It
Oh, I gotta
was
go
it
check it
was great.
out.
It's most probably the most expensive costume I've ever made.
Oh wow, really?
And
Oh, because you did like 3D printing and stuff like that too. And then I
3D
didn't see
Oh
the
printing
wow, she's
everything.
getting elaborate.
I know,
Yeah,
and then I didn't see the final, but you said next time you're gonna use a stencil for the patterns on the face and stuff.
yeah,
So
I
very
did a
cool.
makeup and I hand draw the tattoos, the Mirialian tattoos. I'm making a stencil to make it better next time, and I'm also making bracers, like the High Republic bracers. Yeah, I made everything. It was insane.
Hashtag so
It was
pro for
many
real.
hours of work. But right now, I don't know if you're a fan of Our Flag Means Death. Nobody.
I've been trying to watch the show. I haven't gotten to it yet, but I think he
How
watches
dare
the
you?
show.
They
Yeah,
canceled
I'm
it. The
making
bastards bloody canceled it. I'm outraged.
I'm making a Spanish Jackie.
Oh, oh yes.
So I'm figuring
I don't know
out
who
how
that
to
is
make
yet.
the wooden hand right now. That's what I'm working on. So yeah.
Very cool. Well, this is
Well,
so lovely because I really enjoyed spending time with you in San Diego. I don't want to throw everyone at you, but everyone should meet Giraffe in San Diego. We went to a really cool place. In fact, I have my mothership shirt right here. I just
nice.
did the laundry, so very cool. So thank
Well,
you
I hope
so
to see
much.
you in Vegas. And I hope to see you soon. If not Vegas, somewhere else. We don't know.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us.
Bye bye. Bye, Toddy.
Yeah.
How cool was that surprise?
So all my French speaking was like set up basically.
See, if you stick around the Starfleet So Hail show, you'll get some occasional surprises. We used to do this kind of things a lot back in the day. You used to set me up without me knowing. Used to pop Larry Nemechek on,
I
just
did.
like,
I
oh,
surprised you with Larry
use
Nemechek. That's true. I forgot.
That's right.
It's like, oh, hi. By the way,
That's how I
what the
also
hell?
met Ketwalski. I think you got Ketwalski. You love the surprise, so I did it to you
Oh, I
finally after
invited
all these
someone.
years.
Who did you invite? By the way, boom. We miss you, Nick.
Yeah, we do miss you. Shout out to Nick. He does watch sometimes. Sometimes we get a little comment or something from Ketwalski, so that's cool. Thank you, audience. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Oh, Joel met Giraffe and STLV and our Sanctuaries.
Quality cosplays by quality Trekkies.
Yes, indeed. So where were we, Toddy? Oh yeah. So things get crazier.
Everyone's getting rowdy on in the bar. I guess I was gonna say 10 forward, but not quite.
Indeed. And then here's the slam poetry thing we were talking about
So I
earlier.
liked how like they changed the grain or everything, the color of everything.
Oh
Like
yeah,
there's like a sepia to it, right?
there is a sepia. And what is this part of the ship that we're in? Because he's like, I've never been to this part of the ship. What's up with the like kind of like the yellow and black and all that? Like, is it a security deck or something? Is that something new?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't
I
live on
want
a
to know
ship.
more. Yeah, we don't live on the Cerritos, but I would. I would do it.
Mm.
I would. It's a nice ship. It's a chill ship.
So until we get the reveal, it's all a little goofy, and you kind of don't really like. You understand that they're doing it, but you don't quite understand why they like to what extent this is going to be useful to them. You know what I mean?
Right, which is
Like
great that they did
at this
that.
point, I thought it was like, well, they're using it to vent. You know what I mean? It's like a way for them to vent. She's using slam poetry as a way to like a release or what have you. But you don't quite know how it's going to tie into to the security job in the end.
Well, also, I mean, since we don't have to wait to talk about this till the end, but I love how Boimler was kind of surprised. Like he's like, I thought you guys were gonna be doing target practice and stuff like that, which is kind of like what we expect, from security forces. Oh, let me just really quickly put up Giraffe's comment here. thank you guys for having me and for all the kind words in the chat. We love you. You can come anytime you want. And don't forget everyone to check out Giraffe on Strange New Pod. And we might be doing a project coming up, but I won't say anything until you'll be invited, Ty. Don't worry, you'll be invited. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so I like the idea, because I think that is what you expect of security forces, that they're always training and they're always like doing these kinds of scenarios. But there are other, I like that concept of like the anti-intuitive kind of training. Like they're training slam poetry to do things like be able to train the mind not to be so to fill the mind with something other than your thoughts. So that like you can't expose your thoughts. I like that they're doing these board games and stuff like that and strategy and what was it, the Starfleet security charades was hilarious, like that you had to guess what security officer
So,
and stuff like that.
I think Lower Decks is a very accomplished show, and I think that it does a very good job at being Star Trek and being like profound Star Trek, right? Like it on the surface it's all jokes and haha, but in truth, like there are there's like a lot of examples where the show is very deep. And I think that this goes even further because I think it adds, like, this alone adds so much to the lore and to the story of Star Trek and to like the security department. And I think it's like it's touching because it's so cool. Like they do these things on a security level to protect their mind against like intruders or threats that could attack their mind, but also the fact that they're taking care of Boimler, because part of their job is the security, but also the well-being and the emotional well-being and the physical well-being of everyone on board. It's so great, and that really is part of the utopia that you want to see. So I can't congratulate the episode enough for that.
Oh, I was on mute, but I was agreeing with you. Yes, 100%. So it would be nice if it were like that today. I mean, you nailed it when you said it is part of the utopia. It's part of something to strive towards. But like, imagine if law enforcement was more like this. Like, imagine a world where we had like this kind of law enforcement. I think it would actually be a better, safer, and more peaceful world. So nice message there from
Well, I mean, not to point fingers at the United States, but like, because a lot of countries have a lot of problems, but the United States does have a lot of problems with security in all senses, be it the physical well-being of the individuals living in there, but also like the mental security of the people living there. So like the fact that like these episodes are written by people that live in the US is very indicative of people that want change and want to see that change happen.
Absolutely. Yep. And we know what's up. But but going back to what's going on in the episode, so they're taken to the sick bay, which I forgot to screenshot for some reason, and they're told that they're scanning them because they potentially might have xanthe fever. And I love that they like kind of get mad. They're like, we're not old enough to have xanthe fever, and like, we're not of that age. And then I love the use of like them talking to each other through telepathy, and then we get to hear their like just like how they did with Loxana and Deanna, like they would like have their private exchanges through the telepathy and stuff like that. So I loved all of that stuff. And then of course that's when they drop their cover. We get this like action sequence which is totally unhinged and insane. and like, can you imagine like the lipstick turns into these like tasers basically, or like stun sticks or whatever you want to call
well they
them.
look like pain sticks from like the Klingons, you know what I mean, like or they're electric batons.
They are paint sticks. They're like as powerful as Klingon paint sticks. I love this shot. I'm glad I got the screenshot of just like this moment.
It's
so
Charlie's
so
Angels
awesome.
right there.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's Rick's his angels. But yeah, so so this was while that's all going on, this was another thing, what we were talking about, the poetry and everything. I just like how Boimler is like ineffective when he's trying to attack Shax,
Physical
and like
comedy really, really gets me. Okay. And the fact that they basically paused Shax's animation, they were like, no, he's not going to move at all, while Boimler is just wrapping around him basically.
like trying hard
That
to...
I love that. I was like, oh my god, he's so ineffective.
And then what's inside this box? By the way, I
He's
love
so
that the box is
pale and
like
so scrawny and so weak. It's like a shrimp trying to take down a shark. It's ridiculous.
he's perfect. And then inside the box are the puzzle. And I love that like Boimler doesn't choose. He's like, why do I have to pick? And they're like, he chose neither. Like they get all excited and stuff like that.
Security series, the Starfleet Security series. You know what I mean?
The animation's so good, but like, I love like that they have things like the Romulan neutral zone, and that's kind of a reference to TOS. Do you remember in the episode it was kind of like the same design in the episode Balance of Terror, that it had the outposts, like do you see the outpost there and like the little dots? I think that's definitely I'm sure Jurg on Twitter already pointed this out like
Oh yeah,
when the
surely.
episode aired, but yeah, I feel like that's a reference to that. But here they're using their Betazoid like special forces are quite formidable if you think about it. Not only are they like highly trained physically, but like they can use their mental skills. Like she like kind of throws them off in this scene when she like through telepathy like tells the one guy that tells them that they're both in love with each other or whatever, and that was like a tactic that they were using. And I like how she stretched out her hand like it's like a more powerful form of like psychic, like perhaps a psychic attack, which we know that they might be able to do. So it's a really interesting thing to see that just like in these subtle ways, like these kind of species that we already know about, us learning more about them. And then this is the scene that I love. I just love Ta'ana's just gone
Everything
totally
is unhinged
nuts.
now at this
Unhinged.
point. Everyone's gone mad.
I like that Captain Period's like, my crew's gonna figure out that something's wrong any minute now. And they're making like a pyramid. Like and Tendy's climbing to the top. I also appreciate that Tendy's modest, and so is that other ensign, and didn't just rip off their clothes like everyone else. Because I would be the modest one, I think. I don't think I'd easily rip off my clothes, even under a psychic influence.
Well, I think like your personality still like shines through, right? Like it wouldn't
Right.
completely change who you are. So yeah.
Right, exactly. So, anyways, Freeman's this is also the scene, of course, where we find out that T'Lyn is actually the one causing everything to go crazy. And we also get some age drops in the scene. Remember, T'Lyn is 62 years old.
I was gonna say 63, 62, yeah.
I think she said 62,
No,
and
probably.
I think I wrote it down. Yeah, 62 years old. And then Boimler, we find out, just turned 25 recently. So Boimler is 25. Canon cop. Where's the it's canon, folks. But that's interesting because I wonder, so we're in season 4, right? Has like how much Fathery would be great. He usually knows exactly the time frames and everything like that. But I don't think they've had too much time. I feel like it's only been like a couple of years. So that means that kind of lines up with when most folks graduate from college, from like a 4-year college. They graduate and they're out and about in life at like about like the age of 23. So it's been a couple of years now, and so he's 25. Norman in the audience is
Memory
saying,
Alpha has lower decks going from like it's only been 2 years basically. These 4 seasons have been over 2 years.
So he was 23 in season 1,
began,
and and now he's season 5. Norman saying Mariner's 32, if I remember correctly. I don't remember Mariner's age being dropped at all. When was that? I always assume
I
Mariner's like
do
20,
vaguely
28.
remember. No,
Oh, really?
I have a vague memory of us assuming 30s, early 30s, like
I
back in
always thought
season
so because
1.
of the demotion. Oh, and because she served on Deep Space. Yeah, I guess you could kind of place maybe 32. Yeah, Mariner looks great for 32.
She's
But
lived a
yeah,
lot of things in her
she
32 years.
has.
I'll say
Yeah.
that.
Oh, here we go. It's probably in the inner fight. So later this season.
I
Okay,
haven't
good.
seen
Well,
that.
yeah. So
That's
okay, so we
clearly
do
a
get more
reference to the
ages.
inner light. That's all I'll
Yeah.
say.
Let's
My
not get
theory
tired.
craft
Yeah.
brain turned right on.
Yeah.
Like, oh no.
Don't spoil
Okay.
it for Toddy audience. It's a reverse spoil. Normally we're the ones spoiling it for the audience. So in this case, we're not spoiling it for the
Han
the
dies.
panelists here. Jill says they've never actually revealed her age. Many hints allow us to speculate. That's what I thought, but if that's true, Norman, then I'm gonna have to go watch it like right after this because I need to know now. So, or you can look it up on Memory Alpha, Toddy, and see if the age is listed there.
Well, I'm not gonna go play around with Memory Alpha pages right now if I haven't seen like the end of the season. Just
The the security team mobilizing, I loved everything about this. I like how they went from like, as you said, so pro, right? Like they were like messing around. Red alert hits, boom, look how serious like everyone gets. Boimler is totally thrown off guard. He's like, what? These people just were like messing around and now they're like hardcore expert,
I got that puzzle.
experts and
They're
stuff like that.
moving well on that puzzle. I'll say that.
Yeah, they were. It's true. What did you think of? I think this is a really good scene. Aside from the humor, but it kind of, is a. I thought this was like a really good scene between Mariner and Tallinn. I mean, Mariner's trying to hold it together, and she's still able to
Look at
kind
the
of like
size of the
reason
eyes
with.
compared to the hands. It's crazy.
Well, yeah, it's animation, right?
Yeah, it's animation.
But yeah, what'd you think of this scene?
I liked it. I like the emotional vulnerability of Vulcans, as bizarre as that may sound. And I don't mind exploring that, that topic. And I feel like Mariner was, because usually she's on the or it has been that she's always on the screw up side of things, or not necessarily the reasoning side of things, and this time she was, and I appreciated that.
Yeah, me too. I like that. I felt really sad for Tallinn because she feels really down on herself for what's happened, like being expelled from her post on the Vulcan ship, and she says something about me is wrong. Like she actually, and I love that Mariner kind of lifts her out of that and is like, "There's nothing wrong with you." Like, and I love that she actually uses the Bendai syndrome as a way to justify this. Like, Sarek had Bendai syndrome. Like, there's nothing more Vulcan than that. And until it's like, oh yeah. And I have to agree. F Captain Sokol.
Did you like my? You're like the only person I think that liked my tweet. What was your captain's name? Sokol. Well, man, fuck Captain Sokol. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Remember,
He's
we
wrong.
are
He's mistaken.
PG.
He was
I'm just
mistaken.
kidding. It's within the context of the episode. On Lower Decks episodes, we can cuss a little because they cuss, so it's fine.
Well,
Norman's
you need to be
asking-
more. You need to be more reactive with those beeps. You got to bleep me when I say a swear word. So you got to jump on that bleep.
No, beep. That's what Lower Decks does. It's kind of awesome. Remember when we were all like, "Can you give us an uncensored version?" Like take a version without the bleeps. And then Mike McCann's like, "No, the bleeps are part of it. They're baked in." Norman wants to know. And this is a good question. So does Tallinn have the same exact disease as Sarek? And if so, is she dying? I hope not. I wondered the same thing, but it looks like it was like. It seems to me like it was like a temporarily induced version of Bendai, or like Bendai, similar to Bendai. But it is a really good
Bendai
question.
adjacent.
Bendai adjacent. But it is a really good question, and I wonder if this is something that will come up again at some point in season 5, because it could be interesting to have someone dealing with it, like something that they don't, necessarily know. We don't know, and maybe Talin doesn't know either, so it's interesting. I also don't know if I don't remember in TNG if Bendai was if the Bendai syndrome was treatable. I don't think it was, obviously. I think it was being compared to like Alzheimer's and dementia in humans, right?
Yeah, something like that. I mean,
And
that was the allegory, right? Like, no, the allegory or the allegory.
yeah, the allegory. I like allegory, but it's allegory, yeah. But like to me, it might be temporary, but it would be interesting to see a character dealing with having Bendai syndrome. Also, it's very possible that by lower decks time they have treatments or cures, or maybe if you do catch it early, like at this stage, you can treat it and prevent it from happening. We have right now all kinds of advancements, like so interestingly enough, what we knew about Alzheimer's and dementia was very little when that episode of TNG aired. We knew very little about what causes it or why it happens or how to treat it or anything like that. But now during Lord X time, humanity itself has a lot of answers about dementia and about Alzheimer's, and I think we're from what I'm understanding and hearing, I follow a lot of science blogs and science podcasts and things like that. And dementia is particularly interesting to me because of my father. He had it and suffered from it. And so I was always kind of like reading up on it, hoping to find ways of treating him. But I think that now we're getting close to at least treating it or understanding it. And I've heard that there might be a way to even prevent it for my generation, by the time my generation reaches the age where it really affects you, that it might not be an issue anymore for humans. So hopefully that's the case. And maybe that's the case also in Star Trek, since since it's like 30 years later in Lower Decks as well. So fingers crossed, Jill says, Dr. Truffles, says, I'm not sure they even used the term Alzheimer's at the time Sarah cared. I think, Dr. Truffles, I don't know if you remember the movie For Mercy or For Murder, but I think that came out before TNG, because I remember being really impacted oddly by that movie. What's
the movie?
It's called For Mercy or For Murder, and it's based on a true story of a man who murdered his wife because she was suffering so much at her request. It was like a mercy killing, if you will. It was a big famous case, and I think he went to prison. I'm a little gray on the details at the moment, but the film starred two of my favorite actors, and it was really kind of sad. It was Hume Cronin and Jessica Tandy, if I'm not mistaken, might have been the cast. I might be misremembering this because it was such a long time ago. What year did For Mercy or For Murder come out?
I can't find it. I can't find that movie.
Let me see. Jill, do you have, or anyone older, do you have any recollection of what I'm talking about?
There's like things called like Murder to Mercy, the Syntopia Brown story.
Here we go. Let's see.
There's a Netflix thing. I don't know. I can't find
Based on a true story, the film stars Robert Young and Roswell Gilbert, 75-year-old Florida retiree, happily married, 45 when Gilbert's wife, Frances Reed. Oh, this is totally not how I remembered it. Wow. Or maybe it's like a Mandela thing and I remember it from a different universe. But it's
Mercy or Murder.
Yeah, it's Mercy or Murder. So 87, and TNG came out in 89. So anyways, as you can see, I was very young when that came out. Yeah, so I don't know why I thought it was Jessica Tandy and Hume Cronin, but it's Robert Young and Frances Reed. Anyways, develops profound Alzheimer's disease after 6 years of unrelenting hell. Gilbert murders his wife to end her suffering. So yeah, that was the same year as TNG.
Before the term Alzheimer's, like it was just considered dementia. Like everything was just generally speaking dementia. Is that it? Like before they really figured out what was going on. Yeah.
Well, I hadn't thought about that movie in a long time. I wonder if it's any good. But anyways, yeah. So yeah, hopefully Bandai syndrome. Yeah, they called it senility. Thank you, Dill. Yeah, it
Oh,
was
okay.
like a blanket under senility.
Mm.
But anyways, yeah. So Talin gets out of her funk, which was very pleasing, to see. And the
So
security
it immediately affects Mariner, because she's like right next to her, of course.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden the effects start to drop away, and people start like getting more normal and stuff like that. And then here they are taking down the the BIA.
BIA.
The VIA. I think I forget at the time we were calling them the VIA Arches, the VIA or something like that. I don't know if that was like intentionally fitting or not, but I thought that was pretty funny. But they're the best biatches ever. That's what they are. So here we go. And then there's the scene with they avert the crisis right in the nick of time.
My favorite Star Trek vessel of all.
Oh, the Degeridix is your favorite?
I
I didn't
love it. I
realize
think
that.
it's so
Oh wow,
cool.
cool. It is a really cool ship. I don't have mine handy, but I have a version of the Degeridix that I built. Where is it?
Oh wow.
I built it when I was a kid. I've shown it on here before. It's unpainted, so it's like a kind of a camel color or whatever from the plastic that
Camel
it
color.
is. Yeah.
They're so disappointed. These poor Romulans. You know what I mean? They were like, "We're gonna do this," and they're like, "Nah, didn't happen."
I love that Romulans lurk.
They just
They're
lurk.
like,
They
let's go,
lurk in the
let's
dark.
go lurk. Yeah, let's
Go
go
lurk
lurk somewhere
elsewhere.
else.
You know that they've got beef with other Romulans that lurk in the same like kind of place as they like. We're lurking here first. You know what I mean?
That's true. Then here's the scene that we referenced earlier where Shax is like, security's got your back, basically, and it's really touching and stuff like
And they
that. I
gotta go
like
finish
this.
the puzzle.
I like this continuation of pairing the lower deckers with like their, with different,
Yeah.
senior members of the crew and stuff like that. It's a very cool thing that they do.
Yeah, very often in like traditional sitcoms, you find yourself having like the same kind of pairing, the same kind of pairings with the characters, and they don't switch them up, too often.
Mhm.
And I specifically remember How I Met Your Mother, kind of like making like a meta kind of joke or comment on that, because there's two characters that Robin and Marshall, basically they're never in a scene together if there's not someone else. And I remember them specifically making an episode where like they were talking about like, yeah, we can totally be together like in a scene, or we can totally like do something without everyone, like we don't need everyone else. And then they go like for dinner. I forget how the episode like kind of goes up, but they go out and they have like a meal. And the joke was they never get paired together like in the scripts, right? Or in the stories that they tell. And so I like that like Lower Decks doesn't do that. It really has fun with like changing like the character like matchups, and it creates like different dynamics, which is good.
Yeah, I agree totally. And there's the scene we talked
There
about
it
earlier
is.
too, giving them the little bit of security. I like that they look really embarrassed here, because they probably are. It's very cool. And then finally we get the all good things happy ending there, where Talin decides to stay on the ship. She realizes that she's been taking things too seriously, and she's been
She
caught
has
up in
more
this
to
kind
no.
of
She says she has like more to learn or whatever it is, which is the Vulcan thing to say. It's like, nah, come on, you're having fun here. You know what I mean? That's what's going on.
Yeah, she's gonna get to let loose. I love Talin so much. I'm so happy Gabrielle Ruiz is so into the character as well. Like, she's really cool. She like tweets in character. She'll like on the cruise this year, Father was showing us that she was like in character also, and it's such a great character. Like, I couldn't see anyone else. I didn't think that Lower Deckers needed another like character, like to come in. But now
Well,
I'm like,
it
yeah,
was
like it's
it
so
was
natural.
seamless.
Yeah.
Know what I
Yeah, it was
mean?
very seamless. Yeah,
You
but
know
everyone fell in
the
love with Talin from the start. I feel like it was
yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah. Like, well, of all the three, because we had those three like lower decks stories going on that one episode. I think that everyone kind of like immediately gravitated towards Talin and the whole like she's having like these Vulcan outbursts and like what are they talking about? Like there's nothing. She's doing nothing. And I think
Yeah.
everyone loved that. So to have her come back was a good decision.
Yeah, and I love that it's like I love the counterpoint of like how she was treated on her ship versus how she's treated on the Cerritos. It's very cool, and like I love that like because we've always said that Vulcans are kind of prejudiced against humans and have all these like stereotypes and misconceptions, but humans do too about Vulcans, and
Oh
so
yeah.
this is a good way to kind of you know disqualify those, if you will. It's like it's really cool. But we're a little over our time. We usually like to go for an hour, Toddy, but I think
Outrageous.
I think it was appropriate since we're
Yeah,
having
we had
such a
we had a guest. It
we
was
had
a
a guest and we had
surprise.
such a good time and everything like that. So I certainly enjoyed this conversation. Let's wrap it up and give our kind of final thoughts on the episode and our ratings. I'll go first as per usual. I give this episode a 10 out of 10.
Oh my god.
Audience, feel free to tell us what your rating is as well. I just, again, this just insane fun mixed with like profound, you know, like really profound messaging. And Lower Decks just manages to do it so well. And again, I just like so disappointed that, you know, it seems like the creators want to do more, but they're only going to get 5 seasons so far. So bummer. And I hope they get to do more. I hope we can save Lord. Yeah, I don't know. It's like save Lord X, but it is save Lord X. We did it for the Expanse. This happened to the Expanse, remember?
Yes.
It's the same thing, I think, right? Like the Expanse was kind of
You know what's
not
crazy? The Expanse got a
erosion.
plane, right? And it flew over like Amazon. But Prodigy also got a plane.
Yeah. Oh, Lower Decks is gonna get a huge billboard in New York, I think.
Oh,
One of those like Times Square gigantic billboards.
oh that's so
I think
cool.
the Lower Decks fans are getting ready to do something like that, which is pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Maybe I have too much trust in Mike McMahon, but I feel like Mike McMahon, he's got contacts around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Maybe
I mean,
like
it
I'm not
might end up
saying
on
he has.
Hulu. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have full power like over this kind of thing because of course the big suits need to talk about it and everything. But I feel like maybe he can arrange a little something here and get people to talk and what have you.
So what's the Toddy rating for this episode?
7. Give it a solid
Okay,
7.
it's solid 7. It is solid.
Yeah, there's a couple of things like that we discussed in the beginning that I don't know, maybe they're a little odd, but they could be like Bandai induced.
Mm-hmm.
But no, there's depth to this. And I just really appreciate the whole. I appreciate that we learn more about like security and like how much they impact the ship. But I also appreciate like the growing lore of the Betazoid people.
Yeah.
Because it makes like the Betazoid like they seem very like royal and whatnot. They've got like all of these high standing titles and what have you. So it makes sense that they're all about like security and so like the BIA, it makes sense to me. It just
100%.
especially considering they still had like money and banks not too long ago and like TOS and or Discovery Times or whatever it was. So
No, it's true. Well, folks, tonight is TQIF. It's a little celebration that we started during the pandemic where a bunch of us just kind of get together and stream. So we had our pre-recorded Discovery discussion this morning to kick off TQIF. Thank you. It's Friday. We had this fun discussion. In a few hours, you can, in an hour and a half, you can go check out Tex Trek's deep dive into the Discovery episode, Face the Strange. Which have you seen it, by the way? Are you caught up on Disco?
I've seen episode 1. I will be doing everything in
Oh,
my
okay.
power to see the next episodes. There's
Okay.
3 out or 4 out? 3?
There's 5. No, 4. There's 4.
Okay.
4 episodes are out.
Jesus, come on, yeah, they're releasing more episodes than there are days. They can't.
And then
Okay.
later tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern, if you all are still awake and wanting to see what other insanity goes on, we're going to be doing the After Dark show. So check that out.
Oh
You can just
my.
follow our Twitters to see what's going on. And yeah, that's it. What do you got to promote, Toddy? Anything you want to tell folks about?
Subscribe to Starfleet Boy.
Oh,
Or
thank
Starfleet
you.
to Hell.
Starfleet Soil. Yeah, I'm still Starfleet Boy on Twitter. I didn't want to change it because then you lose all your tweets, but still, it's fine.
The loss of
Well,
tweets, baby. No, I promote you. How about that?
Thank you, Benji. Yes, we're done. We do these. So just to give everyone a little breakdown,
Yeah,
we
5 to
do
6.
these Friday discussions here at 11 a.m. Eastern, which is 10 a.m. your time, if I'm not mistaken, and 5 p.m. Eastern, which is 4 p.m. your time. So come back next week. We'll be here. We might be recorded next week. I don't know yet, but I'll let you know during the week. But yeah, either way, it's still fun because someone's in the chats. Not Toddy. Toddy never comes to chats, but that's okay. And Marcelo doesn't come to the chats either, so whatever. But anyways, thanks for joining us, folks. Live long and prosper, and we will see you next time.